Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of the Black Beauty Activist Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Tameka Ellington. For those of you that don't know me, I'm an educator, empowerment speaker, author, and lover of all things Black culture. Here at the Black Beauty Activist Podcast, we discuss critical conversations to disrupt westernized beauty standards and raise the consciousness and confidence of the Black community. But before we begin in this episode, this is our second season. I'm really excited about that. But before we begin, I would like to take a moment and say a silent prayer for the people in Maui. There are now upwards of about 100 people recorded dead, many more to be found. And there are scholars that are discussing how this situation happened based on colonialism. They're saying that the fire was set as a stage because many of the local areas were turned into mass tourist spaces, which alter the agriculture, alter the water management practices, as well as resulted in changes that turned the area into like a huge fire hazard. And so please, let's give us a small moment of silence for the more than 100 people who lost their lives and the others who have yet to be found. As a speaker, one of the things that I really try to always say to any group that I'm in front of, that nothing is more important than you enjoying your life. Our time on this earth is limited, and I beg that you begin to think about things in a way that will help you enjoy life, live in peace, live in joy, live in love. And we don't have any warning when this life is going to be over for us. And so I'd rather end my life in bliss. So I try my best every day. When I wake up in the morning, I say some meditations, I say some prayers, and I wake up and I'm in joy, right? So if you can get up every morning and be in joy, your life is going to be so much better. Do the work that you love to do. That's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now, is because I love doing it. I love being a speaker. I love empowering people. There's nothing else better in this world for me. And I want you to think about, do what you love. Do what you love. This life is precious and is limited. But in today's episode, we are celebrating the month of August being Black Business Month. How appropriate, because also too, this is also the 50th anniversary of hip hop music. Hip hop is one of the entities that has made the largest number of Black millionaires because of the music industry, as well as the entrepreneurial opportunities that hip hop has produced. And so many of you all might know that I talk about it all the time. I'm a proud Glenville High School graduate. I talk about the fact that I'm from Glenville all the time. I'm a tar-blooded through and through. And so many of you all know that I come from Cleveland, Ohio. I graduated from Glenville High School. And what you might not know is that I actually grew up with the guys from Bone Thugs and Harmony, and Stephen House, aka Lazy Bone. I've known him ever since I was about 12 years old. And the wonderful thing is that they just had a street in honor. So East 99th Street, I grew up on 105th Street, and East 99th Street in St. Clair now has just been named Bone Thugs and Harmony Way, that's amazing for that to happen, for the people in our community to be able to see that has happened. I know Steve Harvey also had a street named after him in the city. And so it's an honor to be seen in that way, that people want to, continue to remember you. But it's unfortunate that I just was telling my guest that, because she's also from Cleveland, I'm going to be introducing her in a few minutes. But unfortunately, our people, I love our people, but we need to get our stuff together. Unfortunately, the sign that says Bone Thugs and Harmony Way has been stolen. hopefully it will turn up. But it's a shame that, again, we need to live in love, we need to live in peace and joy, and that was something to be celebrated, and I'm really hoping that they find it. But I digress on that one. So the guest today is also connected to Glenville. She grew up in the Cleveland area. She is a woman who is an amazing person, smart as a whip, heart of gold, but will rip you a new one if she had to. Hey, that's what we do. That's what we do. But she and I went to Glenville High School together. We ran in different circles. I was a fashion nerd. I was always like, into clothes, into school. And the reason why I was so into school is because I actually lived in a very toxic household. And I knew that, me going to school was going to be my way out of poverty. And so I concentrated a lot on school. And I guess she says, this is in her own words, she said I was thugging, right? I was thugging out. But me and her were both moving through high school in our different experiences. And we've come together today because we came together for a similar cause, the same cause, and that is the betterment of our Black community. The lady that I'm speaking of is none other than Shaundretta Boykins, and I'm going to bring her on stage in just a moment. Okay. Hey, sweetie.
Hello, good evening.
Hey, we can hear you. Everything's good. What's up? And I just want to say thank you for taking the time to do this. We just reconnected again. We've been in touch on social media.
Mhm.
And we just reconnected because you gave an amazing presentation for the Stark County Minority Business Association. And I was so excited to be able to see you. So, and just to, get a
Thank
chance to
you.
learn what you do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Helping our people, which is amazing.
Thank you so much. I am super honored to be here, and you almost had me in tears when you showed up in Canton to support myself and the Stark County Minority Business Association. So it was a great to reconnect. And God doesn't do anything haphazardly.
Oh, yes.
Or nothing sneaks on him or surprises him. It was ordained for such a time as this. So
Yep.
I am just excited and honored to be able to sit in the seat in which I do, and to be able to, and have been for the last 25 years, um, a conduit, an advocate, um, a socioeconomic justice uh, advocate for our people.
Yeah,
So delighted
absolutely.
to be here.
I'm going to tell you this, and I'm actually going to admit something to you. Years ago, when I first saw that you were doing the financial work, you post on social media all the time about the stuff that you was doing. I wanted to reach out to you a long time ago, but because of the fact that I'm stubborn and I don't like asking people for help, I didn't reach out. And so God put you in my face so that I can get the assistance that I needed and so that I can back up off of this, you know, this craziness. I don't know where we get this
Mhm.
from, where we just don't want to ask for help. We would rather just be drowning instead of asking for help.
Yeah, you're definitely in the majority. I've been told that more times than I like to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or I've been told that I'm not approachable. And I literally break my back day in and day out to support minority and women-owned businesses, businesses that where the people look just like me.
Yeah.
I put myself
So our
out.
people told you that
Um,
you were not approachable?
oh yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah. They said I have RBF.
What the heck is that?
And really, I just listen very intently, resting B face. I'm trying to listen to you so that if I do have a solution or an answer for you, I can provide it. So I'm just listening to get an understanding, but maybe my facial expression suggests something different. But they feel so awful when they do finally break that barrier, whatever it is, and come to me, because I am the most receptive. I'm your biggest cheerleader that you're ever going to see. If you say, "Hey, I want to fly to Jamaica," I'm gonna say, "No, baby, let's fly to the moon."
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to expand your horizons in business and try to do the best that I can, not only to be an advocate, but a conduit to
Mm,
really not just push you,
yeah.
but give you the tools necessary to get to the next level. So,
Absolutely. And so I'm going to read your bio so that everybody know how amazing you are. And so Shaundretta Boykins is the manager of business development and entrepreneurship in the Minority Business Development Division at the Ohio Department of Development. Shaundretta manages the state of Ohio Business Direct Loan Program, Women's Business Enterprise Loan Program, Minority Micro Loan Program, the Minority Business Bonding Program, as well as has been charged with to oversee the Ohio Capital Access and Collateral Enhancement Loan Programs as well. That's a lot, girl. In her role, she assists minorities and women with the requisite education needed to start up, stand up, and scale up their businesses. She also assists them with access to capital, technical assistance, education about certifications, and procurement opportunities to help with the development and growth. Shaundretta has more than 20 years experience in banking industry and working for financial institutions such as Chase, U.S. Bank, First Merit, and she's 5 years experience in the nonprofit community development financial institution of lending and social services industries. Shaundretta has held every position in the bank center and has experience in business consulting and development. She believes in equitable education for marginalized business owners who experience delays or deficits due to knowledge gaps or resources that exist for them. She is a resource of resources. Shaundretta has handled multi-million and multi-billion dollar books of business and has worked with small businesses to establish back office operations, to implement financial systems and controls, and to restructure their debt in order to improve cash flow, productivity, and profitability. Shaundretta has a Bachelor's of Arts degree in criminology and sociology and African and African American studies from The Ohio State University. She is also a proud member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And most importantly, she is a beloved wife and mother. And so I titled this episode The Real Access Grantor because she is the real access grantor. She is the person that's behind the success of many Black successful businesses in Ohio. And it's an honor to be with her. But what I'm really excited about to say is that when I see people from our neighborhood do well, it means so much to me. And to see somebody that grew up just like me who values success and excellence, because so many of us don't. And so it touches my heart to see a woman who grew up just like me who values excellence.
likewise, I
Yeah.
I always say another Black woman is not my competition, she's my complement.
Yeah.
She validates my existence.
Yeah.
And so, I my grandmother is from Birmingham. She's old school. And she raised me, and she was one of those grandmas that wore rings on every finger. And if you
I got an auntie like
pretended, yes,
that.
if you pretended like you were jealous or
Mhm.
envious of another beautiful woman or another educated woman,
Mhm.
she would take her hand and backhand you with all of these rings on her finger. I watched her do it to my aunt, who's her youngest daughter, 10 years older than me. And I said, she had her during menopause. I said, what? She said, you don't have a reason to be jealous of anybody. If they got
Wow.
something that you want, you ask them how they got it. If they
Woo!
refuse to tell you, you're smart enough to figure it out.
Wow.
But she did not allow us to exhibit any signs of jealousy or envy, none of the females in my family. So when people are like, oh, she jealous, I'm like, what does that feel like? I don't know what jealousy feels like.
Mm.
I'm
Wow,
like,
that's deep.
tell me what I don't know what it feels like. I've never been it. I've been a pusher. I've been a supporter. I've been a prop you up on every lean inside. I've been a celebrator. Man, listen, I'm straight as an arrow. Next month, I'll be married to my husband for 20 years. But when I tell you I love a bad chick, there's nothing on earth like a Black woman that's handling her business.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's a unicorn. She's
Yeah.
magical to me. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
glows different. She looks
Mm,
different. She commands the room when she walks in. Not There's a difference between commanding and demanding. You don't
oh,
want
I
to
know that's
demand
right.
the room. You
Yes.
just want to walk in and command the attention of the room.
Mhm.
And so
Just
when
your
I
aura.
can
Yeah.
either, yes,
Yeah.
meet a woman like that or help
Mhm.
create that confidence in a woman like that, I'm in my best place.
I love that. And I think if we all had the training that your grandmother gave, we would be a different community.
100%.
Girl, we would be a different community. I've
100%.
met so many Black entrepreneurs that are doing well that don't want to share information.
Here's what I told a young lady today that I spoke with. I said, listen, exclusivity is played out.
Wow.
I
Wow.
said, if I walked in Giant Eagle today and saw one loaf of bread type on the shelves, I would run out of there because
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, where's the other bread at?
Bread.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be involved in anything where one person does it.
Yeah.
If you're not thinking collaboratively, if you're not thinking joint venture, you're not going to last long in business.
Mm.
If you're like, oh, I'm hoarding, my grandma taught me this. She said, if your hands stay like this and you're not giving, you're sure not receiving.
Yeah.
And so you have to unball your fists and open your hands up and embrace people, bring them in because collaboration is key. Exclusivity is scary nowadays. What will make me invest in you or something you have going on when there's nobody else to validate your existence?
Wow. 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 Mm. So I want to know, what was it that got you, first of all, interested in wanting to get an education? Like I said, most people from our neighbor, I'm the first person in my family to go to college.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
wow.
I'm still the only one. Um,
Wow. Wow.
my sister went for one semester. She got into a fight, got kicked out of school, and never went back.
Yikes.
And so education is not something that we see a lot. And so, what was it that made you decide that you wanted to go to college?
So they used to call us the honors clique. So I was a cool
Yeah,
nerd, is what they
yeah,
called me.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but education has always been a high priority for me because again, my grandmother went to college
Okay,
in
okay.
white racist Birmingham, Alabama. She went
Did
to
she
Miles College.
really? Did she?
So
Wow.
when I tried to join the military after high school, she was like, girl, go sit down. You gonna take this full ride to OSU and you gonna go to college. And so in the sixth grade, I was in a program. I was inducted into a program called Young Scholars.
Yes.
And it was if you graduated from high school with a B plus average or better, you would go to OSU for free. And
Nice.
so when I was in the sixth grade, I had this scholarship opportunity waiting for me. I just had to be successful through my high school career. And so I did that. My grandmother didn't give me a choice. And so I went on to college, but I've always been an inquisitive child. And I used to always ask, why, why, why?
Yeah.
And so my grandmother would and my aunt would make me go to the library and look it up.
Yeah.
So this is literally how our days went. Glenville High School was here, the library was
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and home was here.
Yeah.
Now, 5 of my cousins went to high school with me, 5 of my female cousins. They were troublemakers, or
Yeah.
some kind of way they found a way to get in trouble. So we would leave school, they would get in a fight, I would go to the library, they would go home almost every day.
Ah,
So the way that my family is set up, if one fight, we all fight
yeah.
or
Yeah.
we all in trouble.
Trouble. Yeah.
So here we are in a fight. I go in the library, they go home. They go home, I get home, they outside playing. I still gotta go in the house and eat, do my homework, and then I can come outside and do whatever
Mm,
I want to do. And so
mm,
I've just always valued education. I've always been appreciative of the opportunities that having an education has afforded me. And I was not first generation. I had a cousin before me that went to college. My mother went to nursing school. So education has been fundamentally and foundationally ingrained in me and embedded in me since I was born.
nice.
I knew how to write my first name, which is 11 letters long, as y'all can see on the screen, when I was 3 years old. So
Oh
my
my
mother was
goodness.
like, come down here and trace these letters because nobody's
Yes.
going to take their time to teach you. And
Yes.
so I didn't get toys for Christmas. I got books, I got paper, I got ink pens. It wasn't until I got older that I started getting clothes, and dolls and stuff to play with. But for the most part, I had educational toys
Yeah.
when I was a child.
Nice. Wow.
So it
So
was always important.
wow. So it was instilled in you from the very beginning. That's amazing. That's
Yeah, I
beautiful.
had no choices.
That's beautiful. And like for somebody like me, education was my escape.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
my escape. And so that's
yeah.
that's the only way I knew that I was going to be able to get out of there. You know?
I love it.
Yeah, yeah. So what got you interested in wanting to go on? First off, you're also an entrepreneur. And so
Yeah.
what got you decided, like excited about going into business for yourself? And then how did you get to the point where you started helping other people?
So again, ingrained in me from birth, my grandmother and my grandfather were entrepreneurs. So my grandmother and grandfather, I don't know if you or your parents may remember this, on 97th and Cedar, there was a restaurant on one side and a bar on the other side. It was House's Open Kitchen, which is my maiden name,
Yeah.
and the Waiters Club, and it was joined by a little pass through. And my grandparents owned that for 25 years.
Wow.
So my grandmother was also a beautician. All of my cousins do hair, my aunts do hair. My cousins do nails. So they were all in cosmetology world. I didn't want to do any of that because I saw the clients that they had and I was like, I bet I don't. I picked it up along the way. I have the
Yeah.
know-how, but never had the desire to pursue that as a
Yeah.
career. And then my grandfather was an owner operator truck driver. So he was an over the road truck driver as well. He was also a professional gambler.
Wow.
So
Wow.
they have never worked for people. When
Wow.
they moved from Birmingham, they came up here and they bought a house. They paid it off in 15 years working for themselves.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So that entrepreneurship, I've always had that in me. What made me want to help others is, and here's the truth. I didn't know, I mean, when I'm 14 years old, I don't know what I want to do, but my pastor at home. So I used to be a member of Everlasting on
Okay.
Eddie Road
Yeah.
in St.
Yeah.
Clair.
Yeah.
And so that's still my home church.
Yeah.
And so my home pastor, Uncle Leroy, before he passed, he made me a junior trustee when I was 14 years old. So I used to be like the secretary of our Sunday school and all that kind of stuff. So I was dealing with the money a little bit, taking dues and all of that. But he made me a junior trustee. So I used to go in the back and count the money, with the adults and
Hmm.
blah, 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 blah. So he saw something in me at that age because he
Wow.
could have picked anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't know why he picked me. I'm just like, okay. So I was doing that. When I came to college, here's what's funny. I used to be a sneakerhead in college. So I had to schedule my classes in such a way where when the new Jordans were released, I could be at Foot Locker, the first in line.
Yeah.
So but I needed to work as well. So the only thing that went with my work school schedule was in-store banking.
Wow.
So I got a job as a teller at it was called First Star at the time, but it's US Bank now. And I began to love it. I just began to love helping people with their finances, budgeting, balancing their checkbooks and meeting new people because you had to go out behind the bank in the grocery store and just talk to people. So
Hmm.
I'm like, what? While everybody else hated it, I loved it.
Mm.
So I actually matriculated very quickly and easily through that. In 20 years, I was at 3 different banks. I retired from Chase, or retired from corporate banking in 2017, went into nonprofit, helping businesses. But the one thing that I saw in banking was the freedom, the time freedom, and the financial freedom that entrepreneurs had.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
very intriguing to me, to
Hmm.
be able to do what you wanna do, go where you wanna do,
When
go
you
still
want.
have your
Mhm.
business functioning and producing revenue while you're, totally away from it, not in your business. They were entrepreneurs, not intrapreneurs. And so I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." And as I started to expand my horizons and the scope of work, because here's what I taught myself, and here's what I teach my mentees, my nieces, nephews, and my mentees. I said, "Listen, be now what you wanna become."
Yeah.
So when I was a teller and I had my sights on assistant branch manager, I went to my assistant branch manager. I said, "Give me everything that you typically do that I can do that does not require your level of security."
Right. 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 Right.
And they did. So I learned how to be an ABM as a teller. And it just like that, when an opportunity popped up, I was the natural person to get in that position.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I was an ABM and I wanted to be a branch manager, boom, it was natural because I did the same exact thing. And
Yeah.
I've done that throughout my career so that I could elevate in the places that I was in very quickly. And so when I left Chase, I was branch manager, vice president. I had held every
Wow.
position in the banking center, from business
Wow.
banker to insurance person to everything. Um, I've been a teller, assistant branch manager, a banker, literally every position that you could hold in the banking center. And I was also the president of the chair of our Midwest Diversity Council.
Nice.
So that was 3 states: Michigan, Ohio, 4, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and West Virginia. So I covered those 4 states because I believed in keeping a diverse branch,
Yeah.
because if you representation matters. So if I
Absolutely.
wanted a certain clientele, I had to hire somebody from that community. So when I said I need deposits in this, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I need deposits. Asians got money. I gotta hire an Asian. I'm in
Mm.
this area. I need this money. I gotta hire people who look like the people that's in this area. And based on my efforts in doing that, my peers nominated me and voted me to be chair of the Midwest Diversity Council.
Nice.
So leaving there, going to nonprofit world, being a business advisor and a lender, I just loved the creativity. And when I saw that I was a visionary for business owners. So not
Yeah.
just for myself, but it's like I said earlier, oh, you want to have a 3-day retreat? Well, or you want to have a sleepover? By the time I'm done, it's a 3-day retreat. Like I just, and literally, it's almost like I would sit there and God would take a bottle of something and pour it on my head. So whatever
Woo.
he gave me to say, I gave it to the business owners.
Wow.
And I've produced, with God's anointing and help, millionaire, 7-figure revenue generating business owners in my tenure. And that feeling of creating generational wealth, because I don't believe in just creating wealth, I believe in education because that's the greatest gap. So if we do this, this is the end result. So not only helping them get to a point, but elevating them and educating them on why it's important
Yeah.
and what that means for the generations to come is where it starts and stops for me.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. What do you say are some critical points that you have noticed that become the demise of many Black businesses?
They don't speak the language.
Mm.
They don't speak the language. Business ease is a language.
Mm.
So I run into business owners, they don't know their numbers. They have no idea what the difference is between a revenue, cash flow, um, profit, income. They don't know the difference between these
Wow.
things.
Wow.
They
Wow.
don't know, um taxes, they don't know P&L, which is profit and loss. They don't know balance sheets and income statements. They don't know that you need a fave five, you need an accountant, you need a
Mhm.
bookkeeper, you need a coach, you need a mentor, you need a banker. They
Yes.
don't know that these are the necessities. I'm talking about at the foundation,
Mm-hmm.
not the fundamentals. See, the foundation is where it starts. The fundamentals are the walls that you put on the house. But the foundation, they don't know those foundational truths. All they know is that I'm talented, I'm skilled, it's what I like to do, it's what I'm good at. And they said that I make sweet potato pies like grandma, so I should be a baker. That's what we
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
They see the money or the monetary potential. They don't understand marketing. They don't even understand see, when I talk to a business owner and I say, who are you called to serve? They like, huh?
Huh? Right. Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
that's all an entrepreneur is. It's a glorified name for a servant. Who are you
Absolutely.
called to serve?
Absolutely.
They don't realize that when I say who's your target market, that person, it should be to the point where as you're describing your target market to me, I'm drawing a picture of this person.
Yeah.
This is a Black female between the ages of 35 and 55 who makes about $75,000 a year, who lives, I'm talking about psychographics and
Oh, yeah.
demographics. I am talking about spending habits, all of that. I should be able to physically draw the person who you're marketing to because you are not called to serve everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, when you talk about a target market, that doesn't mean if somebody outside of the look of your target market comes to you that you don't assist them. You help them too. Anybody who's bringing you good money, you help, whether they're in your target or not. But if it's bad money and it
Mm,
is your target market, you still don't work with them.
mm.
But you have to identify who you're called to serve, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you have to figure out what their problem is. What keeps them up at night? What ails them, as my grandma would say? Once you discover what the issue is, whatever your higher power is, you pray and say, give me creativity, ingenuity, innovation to solve the problem.
Mm,
Because if you want to be rich, you solve a problem. If you want to be wealthy, you solve a bigger problem. That's
mm.
how you make money. I love a t-shirt maker because I need them. I love a candle maker because I want to smell it. But baby, we don't make any money because we have all of these passion projects when we
Wow.
should be pursuing the dollars that solve problems.
Wow.
And that's
Y'all
what
hear
we're
that?
not doing.
Do y'all hear that? The dollars that solve problems. It took me so long to figure that part out. Shaundretta, I just knew that I was called to speak. What that meant, I really didn't know. I didn't know what the problem was that I was
Mhm.
solving. And it took a long time for me to really be able to figure that out. And I still fumble through it, But it takes, I think one of the things that I had to do as an entrepreneur, I had to take a couple steps back and allow myself the space to think, because a lot of we just go 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 go, just get the
So,
daily stuff
yep.
done and we don't stop. And I started tripping up because I wasn't stopping. I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm overworking myself because I'm not stopping and I'm not really being strategic in how I'm handling this thing. So wow, 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 wow. Mm, girl, um, what piece of advice, and this is gonna be the last question I'm gonna ask you, what piece of advice would you give to a Black woman who is looking to go into business for herself?
Oh, it's so hard to give one piece.
Just speak. It's however your heart comes out, whatever you want to.
Okay. There's such a knowledge gap. And what I was going to say to you, what came to my head, I'm sorry, I got to say it.
Yeah, yeah,
And then I'll get to the question. But you are called to be a speaker because you are an intellectual.
yeah,
And that means you are called to educate. The
yeah.
knowledge gap that exists in our community, I don't care what the subject matter is, that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
make a difference.
Yeah.
But the knowledge gaps that exist in our community around health, around wealth, is so big. We need gap fillers.
Yeah.
Now, what people don't realize is I hate to speak with a passion. I am literally, I'm an ambivert. I am okay with sitting in my house, being by myself with my dogs, my mama, my husband, and my child. But when I tell you God has called me to the streets,
Mm-hmm.
I'm for the streets in real life.
Yeah.
It is crazy. I get nervous, I sweat, my feet itch, my blood pressure go up. I go through a ton of all of these physical things, but God has endowed me with the grace, the power, the ability, and the knowledge
Yes.
because I don't have anything prepared. When you sent the questions, when you sent the
Yeah.
email, I didn't read it
Yeah. Yeah.
because I don't want to have a pre-made message.
Mm-hmm.
I literally rely on him for everything every time I get up and speak. So I cannot stand in my own strength because if I do, I'll mess up. I go wherever he sends me and I stand there and I'm like, God, you know the audience. I don't tell me what to say. You have that same anointing. That's why you're called to be a speaker
Mm-hmm.
because you're called to fill the gap. I don't care what the subject matter is because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, there have been questions that have come to me that in my own mind and in my own strength, I don't have the knowledge to answer
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And as they're asking me, literally, God is pouring it into my head as I'm answering the question. And it's not, I'm not the subject matter expert, but by the time I finish talking, everybody believes that I am.
That's deep because one of the things that I have realized through this journey is that when spirit is speaking, you have to listen. I have messed up so many times because I didn't listen. I
You
mean,
and me
I'm
both.
telling you, when you hear it, you got to start putting some action towards what you hear. Yeah.
You have to. You got
Hmm.
to move because the opportunity of a lifetime is only good for the lifetime of the opportunity. If
Mm.
you read the Bible, Jesus never went the same place twice.
Yeah, you're right.
He never double backed. He was always progressive. So if you
Yeah.
miss an opportunity in time, you may not get that opportunity again because
Mm.
it was only good for the lifetime of the opportunity. And once it's passed, it could be gone.
Wow.
So to your question, I would say Black women, believe in yourself. One of the things we don't have enough confidence. We don't fear failure because failure is familiar. We fear success because success is foreign. And so what we have to do is get to the point where we have the confidence to push towards succeed. There's a smarter goals, right, Tameka?
Yeah.
Girl, there's so much I want to say on this topic.
Mm.
I changed that. I changed smarter goals when I coach people because I changed it to I smarter.
Mm.
Because SMART goals are just not enough. So you get specific, measurable, attainable, um, or action oriented, realistic, timely. You get to timely, you don't meet the time frame, and then you beat yourself up. Oh, I
Ooh,
didn't do it in the time I was supposed to.
wow.
And not only do you beat yourself up, you stop.
Yep.
So what I did, because the why is more important than the what. I was in the shower one day and the Lord spoke to me and he said that the height of your why determines the depth of your discipline.
Yeah.
How big your why is determine how disciplined you will be. And
Yeah.
that's what goals, that's how you achieve your goals because you say, why am I doing this? How am I going to benefit from this activity? And if it take case in point, me and my husband were house hunting. I bought a 5-bedroom house. It was just two of us.
Mhm.
Why did I buy it? If my mother gets sick, my mother needs somewhere to go. If we have children, our children need space to run around.
Mhm.
If somebody at the family house in Cleveland get put out and need somewhere to go, you look just like grandma. They gonna run to you.
Yeah.
I bought it with a why that I could support my family in
Yeah.
case they needed support. That caused me because I wasn't getting no down payment assistance. I wasn't getting no first time home buyers help. That caused me to discipline my finances because my why was big enough. So I went
Mm.
on a spending freeze because I had to furnish this 5-bedroom house so it wasn't empty. I had some things to do. And so when you understand how big your why is, I had a girl I was doing a budgeting clinic with. She was a hairdresser. So it was when they got all that back pay. for unemployment.
Yeah.
She got $7,000. She spent $3,500, couldn't account for it anywhere. So she
Mm.
came back to me and I said, well, she said, "You gonna kill me?" I said, "Why?" She said, "I blew $3,500 of the 7,000." I said, "So remind me now, what was your why for taking this budgeted clinic?" "Oh, because I
Wow.
want to teach my kids how to be, financially savvy and how to save and do all of that." And I said, "Oh, I learned something." She said, "What?" I said, "I learned that your why wasn't big enough. Your children don't mean that much to you." She hung up the phone. She was pissed at me.
Wow.
I didn't call her back. She called me back.
Wow.
She said, "I'm so sorry." She said, "But when you said that thing, if I didn't hang up, I was going to cuss you out." I said,
The
"Well, we'd have
truth,
been
the
cussing
truth
each
is,
other out. I don't care."
yeah.
I said, "Because the truth hurts."
Yes, it
I said,
does.
"So you can either get bitter or you can get better. The decision is up to you. If it hurt that much, let it hurt enough to change your mind.
Well,
Let it
see,
enough to hurt enough to change your behavior." And so I don't know how I got there, but I will say this. I want Black women to understand um, they can do anything they put their mind to.
yeah.
They just have to believe in themselves. Do the research. Make sure you understand the trends. Look at things. If you're into data analytics, if you're into anything as far as technology goes, if you're into problem solving for the direction that this world is taking, you can pretty much bet that you're in the money because
Mm.
people are looking to do business with marginalized communities.
Yeah.
At the state level, we have our minority business enterprise where 15% of what the state spends, every agency that's inside of the state, which is hundreds, have to be spent with a minority business.
Yeah.
The state
Wow.
makes that clear. So that's their goal. And so there are some things that you can do to position yourself to make sure that you're not, this isn't just a hobby for you, but you're actually doing things to create generational wealth. You got to speak the language. If you don't know business ease, one of two things: you learn the language or you hire an interpreter. You hire a
Mm.
financial planner, you hire a
Mm.
business advisor, you hire people who can speak the language
Mhm.
and break things down to you so that you can understand it. You stop being afraid. You take a chance, you take a risk, you give, you open your hands up to give and to receive. You stop wanting exclusivity and you start being collaborative. You stop thinking that another woman is your competition and understand that she is your complement. You
Wow.
go to where the people are. You don't sit at home and try. No, you go, you network. That's your net worth. And if you don't network, you net weave. Because here's the
Mm.
difference between networking and net weaving. Networking is very selfish. Me and Tameka go, we exchange business cards. We trying to figure out how we can help one another. But if
Right.
there's a third party involved that needs what Tameka has, I meet Tameka, I meet her, I take both of them. I say, here, y'all need to work together
Mhm.
because y'all have what each other needs. A three
Mhm.
strand cord is not easily broken. So when
Mhm.
y'all make that connection, I made one connection.
Yeah.
But when Tameka thinks of what Shaundretta provides and she runs into somebody that needs Shaundretta services, I'm going to be top of Tameka's mind. When the
Yeah.
other party does that, so I get two for one. I get
Yeah.
two referrals for making one referral. That's what
Mhm.
net weaving is. It's like a braid.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not selfish at all. I don't have a dog in the fight. If Tameka benefits from this person I introduce her to, or this person benefits from Tameka, me introducing her to him, they're not gonna give me no money. I
Yeah.
don't give 10% of the deal. I don't get nothing except God says, because you gave, I'm going to give you double for your trouble.
Yeah.
You hook one couple up, now they both referring people to you. So when
Mhm.
we adopt these mentalities, when we understand who we're called to serve, we've been taught wrong. We've been taught, oh, you do this very well, start a business. That's the wrong teaching. Oh, you're
Mhm.
very skilled at that. It's what you love, it's what you like. Start a business. That's the absolute wrong reason to start a business.
Mm.
You start a business because you found who you are supposed to serve. You've
Ooh.
understood what their problem is, and God has given you an innovative and creative solution. And even if it's something somebody else has done, they may have your drip, but they don't have your sauce.
Oh, I love
So
it.
you are the person that is supposed to provide the solution for the people that God has called you to serve. Stand on that. Stop rushing. Slow down. Actually, hurry up and slow
Mm.
down.
Mm,
and build your business like you build a house from the ground up. You lay the foundation. You make sure that has no cracks, holes, or leaks in it. You put the fundamentals up, you put the walls up, and then you put the roof on. We've been taught wrong. We go straight to the roof. Well, what
mm,
happens with a house that is not settled on firm ground? It sinks.
yeah.
It's like building your house on quicksand, building your business on quicksand. It goes up quick and it's going to fall down quick. I used to think it was a flex in my grandma's house to be able to jump up 3 or 4 stairs at one time. Not in business. When you're building a business, your toe, your foot better land on every step.
Yeah.
Because if you miss a step, you're gonna be making money, but you're gonna be selling yourself into bankruptcy. I've
Wow.
watched businesses do it. And Tameka, I want to tell this success story because I want to leave your people with some hope or some
Yeah.
inspiration. And then we can leave because I realize it's almost 8 o'clock. I had a client who follows me. She became my client at Chase. She has a beautiful story. She started her business with 10 tomatoes in a taco truck on the side of the road. Literally, she was making salsa in a taco truck. She's a black lady. She's married to a Hispanic man. And there's a company named ECDI that I used to work for, Economic and Community Development Institute. They actually found this business owner on the side of the road and was like, hey, we got a food incubator. You might want to move in there. We got a commercial kitchen. You can do your salsa thing there. And then you can go out on the street on your food truck and sell your food or whatever.
Yeah.
Sell your salsa. She took them up on that offer. She was my customer at Chase at the time. When I left Chase and went over to ECDI, she was there still at ECDI getting their assistance. At that time, she had moved up and had some taco trucks and had a little incubator that she was working in, a little kitchen that she was working in. And because she is a giver and a business owner, God has blessed her business. She wanted to open a restaurant, a brick and mortar in a very exclusive kind of richy part of Columbus. So she took out some predatory loans in order to be able to do that. She was paying $68,000 a month in interest. It was an interest only loan. What kills the principal? Paying the interest. She
Mm,
wasn't, I'm sorry, what kills the loan? Paying the principal. She
right.
wasn't even making principal payments. She was making interest only payments, $68,000 a month. Your listeners, I hope they hear me clear. I gave her specific instructions. Get your business certified. Get your financial documentation together. Come see me and get this loan and refinance that debt at 1.5%. She did exactly everything I said. Now it took about 9 or 10 months, but this year in April, we were able to refinance $500,000 in loans,
Wow.
predatory loans, at 1.5%. We took that $68,000 payment down to about $6,000 a month.
Mm, that is such a blessing.
Her life, her husband's life, her children's lives, her employees' lives are completely changed. Not because they're getting any additional money, but because the stress off their boss trying to maintain that. She has over 100 employees trying to maintain between all of her ventures that payment. Now, she was blessed to be able to do it. God blessed her tremendously, but having to do it was stress and strain on her. That changed her life and added value and years to her life, but it changed the lives of the people who work for her because she's not as tense.
Yeah.
She's not as stern. She's not emotionally
Yeah.
letting those things slip out
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
professionals should guard
Yeah.
against. And
Yeah.
so, getting to know the state and what they have to offer, we want to partner with business owners, literally. Y'all, in 18 months, $15 million have passed through my fingers for women and minority-owned businesses. And the more we lend at 0%, at 1.5%, I don't have a loan program over 1.5% interest. Prime is 8.5%, and it's going up again.
Yeah.
You can't beat the rates that we have for you to expand your business and take it to the next level. Partner with the state, get in contact with Dr. Ellington. She knows how to get in contact with me, and let's do something great. Specifically, and you're in Cleveland, I prayed for an
Yeah.
opportunity to come home and bless my city and watch God. For 2 years, I did. I said, God, I feel like I need to do something for the city because it's bad in Cleveland. It feels bad.
Yeah.
The sun don't shine bright like it used to when I lived there.
Yeah.
I said, what can I do? This Thursday, I will be speaking at the Brown Stadium with over 500 business owners and some other
Yeah.
resource partners there. I want to do something for my city. And so I hope to see you all there. If you need information on registration, again, reach out to Dr. Ellington. She knows how to get in contact with me. Tameka says, I love and appreciate you. I thank you for this time. And I'm willing and open to answer any more questions you have, or you tell me what's next.
Well, only thing that's next, sweetie, is, how can the people stay in touch with you? I mean, you broke that thing down. And what I will say, what you said about the fact that Black women are afraid of success, I was deathly afraid of success for a long time.
Mhm.
And I let that keep me from really and truly excelling to where I knew I could go. I only excelled just enough, just enough so that I can do the things that I want to do, but not make anybody uncomfortable.
Yeah. You push the gas, mash the gas is what I say. Put the pedal to the metal and take off. Because one of two things gonna happen. You gonna learn, or God gonna catch you before you hit the ground. But you
Right,
can't
right, right,
fail.
right,
You
right,
cannot fail, because when
right.
you learn, you don't fail.
Absolutely.
It may not turn out the way that you wanted it to the first time, but
Yeah.
that's a lesson. That's not a
Mhm.
loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to change our mentality, and words are very powerful. And so I tell people all the time, a word is a seed. You can't change the nature of a seed. If you plant a pumpkin seed, rosemary is not going to grow.
Right.
A pumpkin is going to grow. If you plant a sunflower seed, a pumpkin is not going to grow. A sunflower is going to grow. So as it pertains to that, you have to watch what you say, speak over your life, speak over your business in
Mhm.
positive terms, and
Yeah.
then do the necessities to water that seed so that that's the fruit that grows.
Yeah.
Because the Bible says, unless a seed fall into the ground and die, it bears alone.
Yeah.
But if it falls in there and dies, it bears much fruit. So
Hmm.
you have to watch the seeds that you plant, because if you plant it and it's watered, that's what's going to grow.
Yeah. One other thing I would love to say is, for anybody, wanting to do great things, no matter if it is wanting to do a business, or maybe you might want a promotion in your job, or whatever the case might be, surround yourself with individuals who want to see you grow. Is so important. I had to cut a lot of people in my life out because they did not want to see me grow, including, unfortunately, my husband. I was married
Wow.
for 14 years, and I decided that it was time for me to step away from that marriage because he was not this entrepreneurial thing that I'm doing right now. He didn't want me to do it,
Wow.
and so I had to step away in order for me to be able to do what it was I knew God was calling me to do.
Wow.
But don't let anybody stand in your way. Use all of those tools that Shaundretta was talking about. Get connected with her. I'm going to put a link in the description about the event that she's going to be doing on the 17th. And I'll also put a link in there about her, like what she does for the state of Ohio. I'll also, is it okay if I put your email in there? Can I put your
Please,
email?
please.
Okay. Okay. So I'll
Yep.
also put her email in the description. So if you need any business assistance, you don't have to be in Columbus. She'll work with you throughout the state of Ohio. Wherever you are in the state of Ohio, she'll work with you. But this was wonderful.
Thank
And
you.
it's God is so funny, because I'm telling you, I should have reached out to you a long time ago. I really should have. And I was being stubborn. And I'm like, I can do this. I can figure it out myself. Here
It's a
come I.
different beast, honey.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
It's different.
It is. It is absolutely
It's
different. But
different. It
yes,
is.
yes, it is. But with, individuals like yourself who support business owners, I know I have no choice but to succeed on all the things, that I want to do. So I'm gonna stay connected.
100%.
Yeah, I'm going to stay connected with you. And I suggest those that are watching that want to do a business, maybe you have a business and you want to grow your business, connect with her. She can help you grow your business. So, yeah, I love you.
Yep. Start up, stand up, and scale up. So,
Yes, yes,
and not only that, succession plan, because we got to retire. We addicted to labor. We work till we die. We have no opportunity to enjoy the fruit of our labor. And then we don't leave anything for the next generation. And
Yeah.
so my son, very briefly, my son is 21 months old. He has two businesses and two trademarks.
Yeah.
Whether he decides to carry on these businesses or not, a household is a business. He
Yeah.
will transfer those skills and be able to run a household because he's being trained and groomed
Yeah.
to run a business. But I myself am building a business that is franchisable. So
Mm.
that in the case that something happens to me, he will benefit from the franchise fees whether he wants to do the business or not.
Yeah.
That's generational wealth. That's legacy building. Long after I'm gone, he will enjoy and eat of the fruit of my labor residually because
Yeah.
that's the kind of business that I'm building. And that unfortunately does not work with t-shirts and candles. That
Mm.
works when you are solving a problem because there's nothing new under the sun. And every demon that we don't conquer, we leave our children to fight. So if
Ooh.
there is a financial demon on your back and you're a parent, if you don't conquer that demon and teach your children, see, you can conquer it, but you can still leave your child ignorant. If you
Mm.
don't conquer that demon and teach your child what's going on, be open, transparent, like Dr. Tameka was just about her relationship with her husband, it's not benefiting them. You can do two things. You can leave scars or you can leave a mark. I choose to leave a
Mm.
mark on my son's life when in
Wow.
my death. I'm not leaving no scars with him.
Wow. That was beautifully said. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Wow. Thank you,
Yeah,
sweetheart. This was
my
wonderful.
pleasure.
This was wonderful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. And have a wonderful evening. And I'll, like I said,
You
I'm
do
gonna
the
be in touch.
same.
I'm gonna be in touch, honey. And
All right, dear.
yes, and we're
Will
gonna
I see you Thursday?
heck yeah. I'm there. And I brought friends. I will be
I
there.
love it.
I will be there.
I
All
will see you then.
right, bye, sis.
All right, dear. You have a great night. Thanks
You
again.
too. Of course, you're welcome. More than welcome. Thank you. Bye bye.
You're welcome. Take care.
Wow, she is so damn smart and just what I like about Shaundretta is that she is so to the point. And we can't get caught up in sugarcoating. We can't get caught up in not having our feelings hurt. She cares. And when you have somebody in your life that cares, you need to open yourself up to the truth and allow, because I told her, I said, I need some help. I need some help. And so I'm gonna let her help me finally after all of these years. I should have been reached out to her, but I'm gonna let her help me. But this is a part of the episode where I talk a little bit about research. As a researcher, as an educator, it is so important that whatever episode that I do, no matter what the topic is, that I try to back it up with some information that is going to help enrich this program. And so, as I was getting prepared, I came across an amazing article, and I'm going to put it on the screen. The State of African American Owned Businesses. This is an article that was written by a lady by the name of uh, Rieva. I think that's how she pronounces her name, Rieva Lesonsky. Rieva Lesonsky, but she's did this article for SCORE. Many of you all have probably heard about SCORE. SCORE is an organization that has volunteers on hand that work with businesses, and they help businesses through strategy, through finances. They help businesses through a lot. And actually, I started doing a little bit of research and trying to see if I could get involved with the SCORE office that we have in Cleveland. But this article was really, really good. And so I'm going to share a few bits of information from the article. And so the article mentions that 70% of African American businesses are happy in their business. So that's the reason why I left my six-figure salary at the university to do what I'm doing, because I'm happy. I may not be making the money yet that I was making at the university, but I'm happy. I'm living in joy. I'm doing exactly what it is I want to do. And so they say 70% of African American businesses are happy in their business. And about 72% of African American businesses reported that their business was profitable. That's what I'm talking about. Only 27% of small businesses are owned by African Americans. And within that group, 35% of those businesses are owned by women. According to the article, American Express conducted a survey and found out that African American businesses owned by women earned on average $24,000 a year versus 142,000 among other women-owned businesses. That's a huge gap, a huge deficit. And this deficit, this gap happens to be because of the fact that, as Shaundretta was talking about, Black people are not educated in business. They don't know the language. They don't know what they don't know. And there's a huge educational gap. And also, too, they are entrepreneurs. As she had mentioned, entrepreneurs, meaning that they work in the business all the time. They don't have anybody else, staff, anybody else helping them with the business. And so with that basically sets yourself up for not being able to grow. And so I had to, when I first started my business, I had to release the control of every single thing that I was doing. And I finally hired an assistant, and my assistant is wonderful. She's been working with me now for a year, and she handles a lot of things for me. And so, you can't do this thing by yourself, and that's one of the things that Black businesses do that kind of get us tripped up. But to read more about the article, I will make sure that I put a link to the article in the description so that you all can have it. And this episode of the Black Beauty Activist podcast was brought to you by my book, Black Hair in a White World. This book has already made tremendous impact on the world, and I am so excited to see what it's going to do for Black beauty culture, as well as the Black community. And I just want to thank you all for listening. For those of you that have been faithful and staying connected with me, and those that are new to the Black Beauty Activist podcast, I appreciate you. And I just want to say thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode of the Black Beauty Activist podcast, please make sure to subscribe. Make sure that you look me up on Spotify and Apple. So if you like to listen to your podcast via Spotify or Apple, the Black Beauty Activist podcast is on there now, which I'm really excited about. And if you maybe you love YouTube and you want to listen on YouTube and watch the video on YouTube, I'm on YouTube too. So please go ahead and listen, subscribe, send some likes, send some comments, and spread the word to people in your circle that may be able to benefit from messages like the ones that I love to talk about. And so I want you guys to always remember that. And this is something that as I continue to grow, I really continue to just sit in this, right? And so, and I end all the podcast episodes this way, but I always say, remember, on the other side of fear is your beautiful confidence. On the other side of fear, once I got tired of being afraid and I stepped over to the other side, my beautiful confidence started to show up. And so on the other side of fear is your beautiful confidence. I pray that you all have an amazing evening, and thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.